Alright, we're back. It's 8 days in step 1 60-90 grit. There are the rocks. We took them outside and rinsed them off. And I'll apologize in advance for the washer that is spin cycling right next to us. I wish my man cave was bigger. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be checking out the rocks. What I usually do is do it with my fingers, okay? You feel that rough right there?
Yeah,
Touch it. You don't feel it. You didn't touch it. Touch it. There.
Ah, it's wet. Wet hurts me.
No, and right there, you feel that? Okay, that means we're going to put it back in the barrel and go another week. If we get something that feels like there's nothing rough on it, then we'll put it in this container, and that'll be
microgel helping.
That'll be the container for the rocks that we're going to move on to step 2. So, hey, no, you're doing this.
No.
Put that down. Let's get busy. Pick up a rock, check it out. Boy, this one's going to be nice when it's done. It's a little rough there, so it goes back in for another week. Pick up a rock, feel if you feel anything rough on it. On it, just pop it in for the move.
Wow, water feels cool.
Another week in.
Another week. Wait.
And to be honest with you, I think.
Wait, does this mean this part, like where it's like slanted a little bit, mean we can put it back in?
Yeah, because we can still smooth that out some. He's talking about there's a little ridge right here. Okay, so we can still smooth that out some. Most of these are probably going back in for another week. It would be rare to have them, but these are actually rounding.
This one will come out nice.
Yeah, that's going to be a really nice one. We'll do a quick close-up of this one. This one's going to be a really pretty rock. Okay, these are rounding off pretty nicely, so I think next week we'll probably definitely have some that are going to be done in step 1.
Whoa, the water feels weird. This one looks like it's
close.
This is one going? I can't tell.
Let me check. It's got a little rough on the top, so we'll send it another week.
Send it another week.
Let it round off.
Send it another week. Yeah, we got a lot.
Okay, we'll turn the camera back on when we've got them all sorted out and we set them up for step 1 again. Okay, we took all the rocks. We didn't really have any that were ready to move on to step 2, so all the rocks are still in there. And I had a 3-pound barrel going. All those rocks are in here now, and we're still probably a little bit short on what we need. That's how much we've worn off in just 8 days in 60-90 grit. So Liam is going to fill this barrel back up with more rough. So now we'll have rocks that have been tumbled for 8 days, and we'll have rocks that are just starting out going in. So Liam, come on around. Start filling it back up. You got to fill it back up to about where it was last time. Then we will put water back in.
Stop.
And we will put grit back on. Put that down. Just don't worry about that right now.
Okay.
And one thing with this, I don't have to worry as much about cross-contamination because they came out of 60-90 grit, they're going back into 60-90 grit, so I didn't really rinse the barrel the way I would have if I were going on to 120-220. We want about a 2.5 inch gap, so probably fill in a couple of these low spots. I think Tiger Eye seems to round off pretty quickly. I think next week we will have some that are ready to move on. Is that all of it?
Yeah.
No, put these small ones in there too.
You're breathing into my ear.
All right, and we will fill these back up with 60-90 grit, put them back in for another week, and we'll see what we got next week. All right, welcome back. We are checking the rocks week 2. Try to get that where we can see it, and that's because I'm not a very good editor. Okay, this is after 2 weeks. We did a week of 60-90, checked them to see if anything's ready to move on to 120-220. We had a couple small ones. Now we've finished 2 weeks, and Liam's going to be doing like we did last week. I've already found 3 that are ready to move on, and we've got some really nice stuff going. Hopefully we can focus on those. I think those are going to be spectacular. Okay, so basically we go through, remember Liam, touch the rocks, feel for anything rough.
It's
If you
hot.
feel anything rough, it goes in there. It goes back in the barrel for another week. I did get some straight 60 grit, which is a little rougher, and I'm going to try it this week, so it may be even more ready next week than we have this week. Most of them are still not ready, but we will probably have a few. Also, after a week of grinding, the barrel's probably down to about half, so I got some more rough that I'm going to add in. So now we'll have rocks that have been in here for 3 weeks, rocks that have been in here for 2 weeks, and rocks that are just going in now. So it's kind of a process. And once we have enough to fill the LotO, let me see that one before you put it in there. I'm just going to check it. See if you're good. Oh, yeah, I think you're good. Let me see. Now, this one's got a rough spot line. Right here. Feel it? We don't want to send it forward if we got rough spots. That's what step 1's for. So we will add new rough to get the level of this barrel up to the 2/3 to 3/4. And we'll keep going until we have enough to fill the LotO. And then we will proceed from there. This video could end up being very long from all the weeks it takes to get enough rocks to fill the LotO. So I'm going to stop it here and we'll be back at week 3. This is what's ready for step 2. Looks like we got about 10 rocks in there. I'm switching to straight 60 grit, which has a little bit more bite to it. Next week we might have enough to start the LotO. See you then. Alright, we're back. We did a week of straight 60 grit, and I was pretty hopeful in terms of the outcome on that. We've got some really nice rocks coming out. I've got one that I wanted to kind of show there, and yeah, that's pretty nice. This should come out really nicely. So we're still checking for rough spots and anything that's ready. Let me see what you got that you're putting in there, buddy.
I'm already an expert at this because you're making me do it.
I think that we're probably going to have enough to start up the LotO.
My hands are dying right now.
Start up the LotO and start finishing. So we will see. So it'll become a kind of a 2-part process. We'll have rocks that are in the LotO, and we'll still be putting more rocks in step 1 in the rotary to
I just want to feel that cold water that's in that
get them ready to move on to the LotO.
That one's raw. Perfect. Oh, this one's perfect. Crap. Ow! What is that? Well, I bumped my knee on the what's it called? This bucket down there. Bucketeer. You're a bucketeer. I mean, you are because you have like 9 buckets.
Yeah.
This is his workshop where he keeps all of his rocks.
Pretty much.
Yes, he keeps all of his rocks down here. It's like his little project that never ends. Nope, that has a crack. Ugh. What?
This one's done. Got another one that's ready there.
Yeah. This one's ready. Oh, this.
That one's not ready.
This one ready.
Let me see it.
It's little and there's no cracks.
Yeah. Well, no. Feel right there, buddy.
What?
Feel right there.
I don't feel nothing.
Go this way. Feel it?
I don't feel anything. Oh, this one's ready.
Let me see it.
Come on, I'm the expert.
I get final. This one might be ready. I get final call. This one's pretty nice.
Yes, this one's ready to go. What? Can you do the rest of the work? Just kidding.
We probably will have enough to set up the LotO.
We probably will have enough to not do it.
If we get the LotO going today, we will probably have a group of rocks done in 9 days. But there are a lot more that we're still working on. So, but the first batch could come out in 9 days. I ran the graded 60 for the last week, and I've just gotten it. So rather than run, some of these rocks have spent 2 weeks in 60-90 and then 1 week in straight 60. Some went in new, so they've done 1 week 60-90, and some have only done 1 week with the straight graded. I'm gonna have to check all those because you keep throwing things in there.
Dad, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. All right.
No, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, in the interest of speeding this process up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and if we start the LotO, I'll start again so we can show that process. So we will be back. Okay, we're back, and we did have enough to go ahead and load up the LotO. So we actually have the funnel on here, and just in case, if anybody watching this, I'm running through pretty much the exact same method that Rob at Michigan Rocks does. And if you've ever watched any of his videos and you see the results he gets, you know why I'm following what he does, because he's doing it right. And if you haven't watched any of his videos, I strongly suggest look up Michigan Rocks, a guy named Rob. I'll tell you what, he knows what he's doing. All right, so Liam, we're going to have, this is all the rocks we have ready. Okay, these are all ready to move on. I went through and checked them, and Liam, there were only about 5 or 6 that had rough spots, but as Liam told me, those weren't there when he put them in, so I must have done them. But here, Liam, go ahead and take the rocks and just try to gently put them in the LotO there.
Oh, that water is so.
Yeah, I used cold water. I did that because what happens is when I drain it, I want them to stay wet long enough to get them over to the tumbler and put the grit on.
But what does cold water? Why does cold water make it?
The hot water. If I use warmer hot water, it evaporates faster.
Oh, I know.
But as I add the grit, I have a squirt bottle over there. If I need any extra water, I can get it set up. But basically, we're going to start. We're going to load these in, and I'm going to say these probably won't even fill it halfway. They may be close. And then we're going to fill it the rest of the way with ceramic media. Okay, we're going to be using large ceramic media and small ceramic media. Okay, we're going to be using a little bit of both to fill this thing almost completely up, and then we will put it on there, and we will do step 2 for about 3 days. Easy on them, bud.
I am.
We're down just to the small ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get this. Leave that on there because that's going to help me out. All right, we got all the rocks in, all the ones that are done right now. Okay, so here, let me. This is my tub of large ceramic media.
How much do you have?
Well, I got enough. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get this thing filled up.
I bet you have cans of soup ready for me under your bed.
There's going to be a lot of ceramic media in here.
Oh, yeah. Is this going to be an hour-long video of you placing those on that?
Probably. Okay. Now we got a good amount of the larger ceramic media in there. Now we're going to add some small. Here's the smaller. Now you're probably noticing that I've filled this more than what it has. It's like clear up into there. This is kind of a cool thing right here. You shake it in, and it went right in. So you have more room than you think. We're trying to fill in as much of the gaps as we can.
Why?
It helps it to tumble. If we had a lot of gaps in there, then it's not going to tumble really well. Now, the next step is I take a strainer like this one. I put it over the mouth of the barrel and dump the water out. That way I don't lose all my ceramic media. It's still, I'm going to get most of the water out, but it's still all wet. Okay, now we're going to move, so I'm going to stop the video for a second. Alright, we're back, and Liam is starting up the LotO, and he is going to add a scoop of 120/220. I'm going to get a little closer in on the LotO so you can see it. He put his head in the way, but there you go, you see it moving. Just one scoop, buddy, that's all we do. It's about 2 tablespoons full. Alright, now take the squirt bottle next to it. Take the squirt bottle next to it. And put in about 3 or 4 squirts. Squirt, no, get all the way, stick that nose all the way in there. There you go. That way we don't get water on the outside. Okay, and now we wait for 3 days and we go from there. Now I also want to point out, here is what we have left, and it's pretty dark, so I don't know if we can see it, on the 12-pound rotary. Okay, go ahead and put the lid on that, that's fine. Okay, and the rotary is probably less than half full, but we're going to add more rough to it. So here's more rough. You see, I get it to focus.
My hand feels weird, Dad.
And then that'll fill it up, and we will set it going for another
My
week.
hand feels weird.
Alright, so we'll probably see you in about a week.